just off I-20, you'll find us here in Anniston. The love of two wheels goes beyond just the race. Bike-friendly hotels, restaurants, and bars are the gateway to paved adventures on the Chief Ladiga Trail and mountain biking on Coldwater Mountain. But there's no celebration of the city of Anniston or the sport of cycling greater than what happens at the Sunny King Crit. It is a piece of Americana, one of the last great community events that showcases the heart of America. It's something we look forward to every year, to that magical time when we can say, welcome back to Anniston. This is 23 years of racing, 250 years of history. This is Talladega's backyard. This is the legacy of the great Sunny King. This is the return of the greats.
I won 2 times this race and I'm here for the 3rd time.
This is the debut of new faces.
It's my first time here and I'm super stoked.
And a great Alabama tradition continues. So it is with great honor we say for another year, welcome to Anniston, Alabama. The vibe here in Anniston is unmatched. What they have put together in this community is unlike anything else in the world, and tonight we're going to see that once again. But first, we got some racing to get to, starting with our pro women. Our pro men will race later today, but first we'll introduce some of the top riders in this field, and we have 2 very good fields lined up for you tonight. The pro women race first for 1 hour, and then pro men will be after that racing 75 minutes from there. So we'll start those call-ups very soon here and meet some of those top riders. I also want to take you through a look at this course. It's pretty straightforward, 4 corners, just about 1 kilometer long. There is some elevation here in Anniston, though, so that'll be the biggest change that we may see in terms of how this race plays out, because that backside hill that we're going to talk about here in just a bit is a major factor in these races. So we'll take a look at that course here in just a bit. But first, I want to introduce you to a new member of our broadcast team here in Anniston as we welcome Jenna Foley here to the Sunny King Criterium. She's going to be out on course checking out everything going on in the race, around the race, and everything that's great about Anniston. Jenna's with us live here. Jenna, where are you right now?
Last 2 years from Skyline as well. 2 different teams are in 2 last 2 years because she's in demand. Now, running to Allie Lacroix.
Unmatched. It's such a cool place to take a look at all of the epic bike racing happening, and I get to be out here right in the middle of it talking about all of it with you guys. I'm excited to take you guys into the middle of all of the action. Back to you, Brad.
Thank you very much, Jenna. Let's get to that course map here as they are starting their call-ups on the line right here. We'll introduce you to some of those top riders here in just a bit. But first, the 1 kilometer course here in downtown Anniston, Alabama. Really, the heart of this whole thing is Noble Street, and the Noble Street Festival goes right down the middle of this course. It starts relatively short into turn number 1. You make that first left-hander into turn 2, and that is where the downhill starts, a long downhill run into turn 3. And that is oftentimes the most interesting turn in this race, to put it lightly. After that, it's a quick jog over to turn 4 and then an uphill run to the finish line from there. This is where timing is crucial on this course. We have seen so many years where this race has been won and lost by riders going too early or too late up the hill. So that last little kicker up to the line is a major factor in how this race will play out today. And again, it's really all going to come down to that final lap and who's ready to get to it. So sounds like they are starting to introduce riders down on the front row, including some returning champions in the field this year, including Erica Carney, who has been 10+ years since she stood on the top step of this podium. She will be back to try to add 1 more title to her total. We're also having some international talent on the line as well, so this pro women's field should be very good today.
Riding for the brand new biker cycling team. Living in Davenport, Florida. Fourth place here in Sunny King.
All right, so we start our front row with Allie LaCroix on the left-hand side of the line here, riding for, I think should be Team Flicker here, the American. And then after that, looks like they brought Shannon Koch up to the line just next to her. That should be Kingdom Elite Racing. Yeah, that is unmistakably Shannon Koch. Koch, a super aggressive rider, not afraid to ride on the front. More importantly, not afraid to put her nose in the wind. I'm going to guess you'll see a lot of that purple jersey, excuse me, on the front of this field tonight, especially with the wind. Shannon Koch's going to be working for her team. Next to her, Rebecca Lang from Team Winston-Salem. This is another program that has really started to come into their own. Lang going to be flying the colors of red and green for Team Winston-Salem. And then next to her, out of Australia, our international superstar on the line for the Liv SRAM Tango Racing Team. That's going to be Peter Mullins, who has a mighty sprint on her. If this one comes down to a gallop to the line, Mullins certainly going to be a favorite into that one. Next to her, defending champ Erica Carney, the only rider in this pro women's field to have won here before, riding for Piedmont Cycling. I think just needs to update the license there. And then it goes Luis Parra from Colombia for the biker cycling team, followed by Michaela McPherson from the United States. So this field is going to be very, very tough. And let's pause for the national anthem. Local Anniston resident Sadie Hayes with the national anthem. They do it well here in Anniston, Alabama, that's for sure. So riders getting their final instructions right now. Pretty straightforward, 60 minutes of racing. We do work on a time-based system here. Once they figure out a good average lap time, they'll then start counting down laps. So you won't see a lap counter until the officials start showing the number of laps to go. They will be polling riders out there tonight. If riders are out of contention, they'll be asked to withdraw from the race. And then maybe the most exciting part of Criterium Racing, the preems will be run here on the line, and they'll have a few of them that they'll be sprinting for throughout the night tonight. We'll take you through those as it comes out, but right now looks like they are locked and loaded and should be just inside of 1 minute to race start. So here we go, the 23rd edition of the Sunny King Criterium about to get underway as we are inside 30 seconds to race start. I do want to point out Michaela McPherson on the right side of the screen. We didn't get a chance to get to her in the pre-race columns, but McPherson, a very good sprinter for that CCB Levine Law Group squad. Going to be looking for her, maybe get some action out there as well. So the countdown is on, and the Sunny King Criterium once again rolls off to beautiful weather and an incredible crowd getting ready to send these riders off. Welcome once again to Anniston, Alabama, and welcome to the Sunny King Criterium. Let's get to it.
Cheer on and pick your favorite rider. We are underway with our pro women right here at Sunny King.
Peter Mullen's going to spend a lot of time at the front here. She's going to be the wild card in this field, but there are plenty of riders that have raced against Mullins. She has spent multiple seasons racing here in the United States, has pretty much raced the entire American calendar, I would say, over the few years that she's been racing here. So this is her first time here in Sunny King. So she is adding to her American resume here with the Sunny King Crit, and it'll be interesting to see how she approaches this one. Staying close to the front right now, I think that's partially because of the call-up, but also partially because she's keeping an eye on Erica Carney. She's going to know very well who to keep an eye on in that
So that's
group.
going to be a brand new winner stepping up. There are riders here that placed in second and placed in third, so they're going to be looking to try to get onto that top step, trying to be able to get
Kingdom
some
Elite,
USA
keeping a lot of
Remember,
riders up
this
the
is
front
race
as well.
number 1 of the
Shannon
USA
Koch, the kind of rider you
Criterium.
don't want to use all night. She has a very, very strong, like 2, 3, 4 lap effort. That's kind of her sweet spot. So I would guess that they're going to try and save Koch maybe as long as they can, try and get her away a little later in the race, and let the other riders deal with attacks like this from Team Winston-Salem rolling off the front.
Jersey. And that'll be awarded 5 places deep, so you're going to keep track of that. It does not go to your overall points, but it does go to the sprint jersey. As right now, riders getting ready to come around and getting ready to complete lap number 1. Anniston, cheer him on. It's lap number 1, 60 minutes of racing.
Gap's going to come back, but field is starting to string out here, so these early attacks going to be establishing moves. Kind of let this field know who's going to be the aggressors out there, and let us know as well. Looks like Winston-Salem going to be in charge here early on. They obviously had a plan coming into this one. They're not afraid to ride on the front in these red and green jerseys, so we expect to see more from Winston-Salem making their way up to the front.
So last year, 2024, Kendall Ryan was the winner. Alexis Magner, Harriet Owen.
See things start to spread out here as we go on board with our live drone up above the field. Some of the best shots in bike racing right here.
Lots of different winners over the years. On our men's side, though, we have a chance to have a 3-time winner that has returned to Sunny King to see what he can do. So we're going to keep track to see what happens in this bike race as our pro women try to be able to gather big points here for number 1 in the USA Criterium Series.
You see our former winners on the list going back 10 years. Unfortunately, you got to go a little further back to find Erica Carney on that list. So super impressive for Erica to return after 10 years off the podium and now vie for another podium spot here in 2025. Kendall Ryan not returning here in Indianapolis this weekend. So the only returning champ here will be Carney. She's staying close to the front, sitting third wheel as they roll through the line here.
She raced a little bit earlier, coming back for race number 2.
Erica Carney, super efficient rider. One of the things that makes her a great bike racer, her ability to conserve energy, ride smart. She's just a good bike rider. There's people that are fast, and then there's people that are just sort of naturally talented on the bike. Carney is one of those riders. She just understands how to get the most out of each pedal stroke, super efficient, and obviously good race tactics as well. She's seen a lot. Coaching that Piedmont College team, or part of the staff over there, sort of ushering the next generation in. Can't think of a more qualified person than Erica Carney. See Debbie Milne tucked in the middle there as well. The white Supra Bars jersey. Doing a nice job keeping an eye on things. A lot of new teams in the field this year, including the City Bike Squad in the black jersey. See up at the front, squad out of Miami, who has some hitters on the team. We're going to talk about both the elite women's and elite men's team that City Biker team squad has brought. So nice to see some new teams making their way onto the domestic American circuit here.
Riding on the front right now, trying to be able to bide their time. It's a long race, 60 minutes of racing. The wind is still swirling from this afternoon, so not making the race course.
We can see how this field spreads out on the uphill drag here. There's not much drafting to be had. The wind situation is the other big factor out here. We haven't talked a lot about the conditions. It is kind of a head crosswind for the riders on the start-finish line here, but the good news is they're mostly shielded by buildings on either side, so it doesn't affect them too much, except when they hit the cross streets. That kind of creates this canyon of wind blowing across that start-finish stretch. So it's on and off with the wind. There are some sheltered sections on this course, but it's blowing here in Anniston, that's for sure. Winds earlier today were sustaining between 15 and 20 miles per hour, but looks like they are starting to die down a little bit as the sun goes down here in Anniston. Back to single file on the backside. This is partially due to the speed and partially due to the wind here. You can see that American flag waving up in the upper right-hand corner, but obviously as the speeds pick up, they'll go back to single file here. City Bikes back on the front here. I like this aggression from the new teams. This is the way to do it, no question.
Temperature heating up at about 80 degrees. Wait for them to come through. Remember, we have a sprint 5 laps in, mid-race, and 5 laps from the end. 5 places deep as over getting ready.
Looks like Frank Andreu out on course with a bell. I'm going to guess this will be the 5-lap sprint point coming up here. Yeah, and they are going to ring the point sprint on the line here, so we are ringing for points on the line. This will be USA CRITS points. This is the first stop of the 2025 USA CRITS season. They'll be racing all over the southeast and midwestern United States, and it starts with the 5-lap in points competition here. So they'll race next time they come through the line. First 5 riders through get points, and then those add up throughout the season, and then culminates in a points champion. So we'll see who's on the hunt for USA CRITS sprint points this lap with a sprint lap on the line.
USA CRITS overall jersey. All our jerseys are brought to you by Jack Root. Big thank you for Jack Root. As again, this is race
Shannon Koch starting to scoot up the outside here.
16th year of USA CRITS.
Here's Koch to the front, but this looks like a Kingdom lead out because Koch's got one on her wheel. Be a perfect setup into 4.
Riders lining it up right now, trying to be able to get that lead out. Remember, 5 places deep, trying to be able to figure out who's going to get.
So here's the drop off from the bottom of the hill.
Look at this sprint.
Got a gap behind her. Piedmont not going to go with it. I think this is McPherson, maybe? Check that. Oh, it's going to be Kingdom Elite Racing.
That's going to be Justine Thomas picking up the most points.
Confirming Justine Thomas first across the line. She's got a little gap headed into 1, but Thomas going to kick off the 2025 USA CRITS season with the first sprint points there. Kingdom Elite going to stay on it. I like this move. Keep the pressure on. They already put in the work for a hot lap. And now they're going to keep this tempo high on the backside here. This is great riding. It's a very aggressive start to this women's race. Certainly no negative racing in this group. They are not short of riders willing to get to the front and do work here. Now Kingdom Elite looking for a little help from City Bikes. They're going to get it. So you notice we're just really seeing the same teams over and over and over on the front. I think there's only a few riders that want to deal with this wind out there right now. We said earlier 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. It was dying down, but it is starting to come back up now. You're looking at the flag of the University of Florida collegiate team, if you're wondering why there's a Gator flag flying in Auburn territory on this Final Four evening, which there are a lot of excited fans for. We had our collegiate races earlier in the day, collegiate women, collegiate men across multiple categories, Southeastern Collegiate Conference Championships for the collegiate riders as well, so a lot on the line, not just for the pros here in Anniston, but a really good day of collegiate racing as well. Nice to see strong fields in that race. It was really, really cool to see all the college kids getting out there and racing. Some really big teams starting to come into their own, and the program starting to expand. Florida got one. It was nice to see a Gator on the podium. And I think our men's BC collegiate race. Big gaps opening up now. And unfortunately for them, big gusts coming onto the backside as well. Staying on it. This is right on the cusp of trying to get something split. They are working for it on the way up the hill here. We'll see if they sustain the effort. I'm going to go ahead and call this 3 away. With one chasing from Kingdom Elite trying to get across. A lot of riders panicking in the field. They like what they see up the road. The action is rolling away here in the pro women's field. Looks like they're going to pull the plug on that one. Problem here is there's still a gap. I was going to say the party just got a little too big. There were more and more riders starting to join, and eventually that's going to shut down the breakaway. I think that's what you're seeing right now. This rider doing a great job coming over the top. You see how she went across and then immediately gets to the front of this group. What she's doing is preventing this group from getting any longer. She's preventing herself from helping to bridge the gap from the field up to the breakaway. That's just good old-fashioned smart bike racing. Yeah, see, there's some question here. That's not what you want to see for a group trying to work together and trying to get away. This is going to be a Savannah College of Art and Design jersey, maybe. That is going to be the SCAD jersey. What I think is Jet Aiken. And now field trying to figure out what to do. Ball is in their court right now for the large group on course. It's really up to them how this one is going to play out. A breakaway can only ride so fast. It'll be up to the organization of this group as to whether or not this break is able to roll it. Let's see if anyone else is going to contribute here.
Trying to see what kind of gap. I told you that Rebecca Lane wants to break this race apart. She's strong, wants to go from a long ways out. The 25-year-old now aggressive here. Talk about her running.
On board with these three. Aiken probably going to be the best sprinter in that group of three. It might be a little early to start thinking about how this group would sprint, but they're certainly working together. And man, I got to give this field credit. They're working together as well. This is not a field that's sitting back and taking this one lightly. Milligan's got to pull through here, though. That black jersey with the orange stripe down the back. Trying to contribute here. Again, these collegiate riders probably into their second race of the day. Those riders that you see with the black jersey, orange stripe down the back. Almost all going to be in their second of the day. To roll away. And as these guys continue to roll away, it looks like they will stay away for at least another couple laps here. We're going to use this opportunity to take a quick break here from Anniston. We'll keep our eye on these three as we monitor their gap, and we'll have more live coverage from the Sunny King Criterium when we get back right after this.
Automotive Group is proud to sponsor the king of all crits, the Sunny King Criterium. Our award-winning dealerships aim for excellence every day, just like the amateur and professional cyclists competing for the crown. Sunny King Automotive Group.
Meet Jonathan Thompson, an international travel writer on a mission to discover the most dynamic adrenaline-fueled destinations on the planet. Join Jonathan as he explores the world's best adventure cities.
For every action, there's a reaction. For every late night check-in, every early morning routine, every episode that you just wish wouldn't end, there are thousands of actions making it all possible. From the little things, to the big things, to the couldn't live without them things. There are hardworking people doing everything in their power to power everything you do.
Could you use one of these bike wheels to replace your flat trailer tire? It's all for science. There's an unreal feeling to get lifted up by 4 leaf blowers. That is pretty cool.
What is great internet? Is it fast? Is it strong? Is it reliable? At Sparklight, we believe the best connections are the ones you can't always see. From helping hands to homecomings, to moments that matter. The best connections are always there, right when you need them. So how do you know it's great internet? Because it works. We're Sparklight, and we're always working for you.
Welcome back to the second annual Outside Festival, presented by Capital One and REI.
Gap, and it is holding for our three leaders up the road here. A very impressive ride for this breakaway so far. They have rolled away 3 laps ago, and now Samantha Clark, Jet Aiken, and Liza Ray have found themselves 3 away off the front with Team Louisville, the SCAD squad in yellow, and then the City Bikes team up there as well. I think check these stats. Yeah, that's going to be Clark in the Milligan kit, originally out of Louisville, Kentucky. And more damage back in the field. Gap starting to open. And now you start to see riders coming off the front. There's the elbow flick from Clark. And this break's about to get a lot bigger. You can see the frustration from Shannon Koch here, the Kingdom Elite rider, waving her arm, wondering where the rest of the field is. She said, I gave you a free ride up here. All I had to do was sit on the wheel. But she's only brought 2 City Bikes riders with her. So this is going to add to this breakaway, and we'll go ahead and call this 7 as they make contact. And now Jet Aiken going to take a quick inventory of her new breakaway companions here in the group. All right, sounds like we got Jenna Foley down on course. She's been roaming around the venue here in Anniston. Let's check in with Jenna.
That I don't know if you can fully grasp is how difficult this slope is uphill towards the finish line, lap after lap. I'm tired just watching it, honestly. This is a very, very long, straight uphill, and then it kicks even to a higher elevation uphill through the start-finish line, and it's going to do damage lap after lap into these riders. So that's one of the other factors. We've talked a little bit about the wind. There's a lot of wind out on the course today, a lot for the riders to navigate, but I'm telling you, this hill, this slope up to the start-finish, it's no joke, and it's one of the things that we're watching how the riders are navigating out here.
We'll see if we can get Jenna back here in just a bit. Meanwhile, this lead breakaway starting to fall apart here. 7 not working nearly as well as those 3 did. I think there's very clearly some passengers in here. I don't think Kingdom Elite is working here. I think only one of the City Bikes riders is working. I think the other 2 are sitting on here. So that probably means that the laps are numbered for this breakaway group to stay away here, because if they're not working together, if they're not smooth, they just don't have a shot against this field. I think Heidi Proderis is one of the Kingdom Elite riders in there. We know Shannon Koch, with the stripes on her sleeves, made it across. City Bikes probably going to have a Donis Vera in here. We'll check numbers as they come by. And Vera up there with her teammate Liza Ray, the other City Bikes rider. Yeah, so as that one comes back together, Jet Aiken going to relaunch out of this group. Aiken has been amazing tonight. Really, really impressive riding here. The Savannah College of Art and Design rider. One of the original 3 of that breakaway that just got swallowed up, and now she's going to try and start again. Claire Abry out of Memphis, Tennessee. Gonna go right behind her. So very clear here that Jet Aiken wants to get a breakaway going, does not want to sprint against riders like Erica Carney and Shannon Koch in this group. So I think Jet probably realizing here that the best chance to win is going to be out of a small group. She already got one established, and now she's got a taste for it. So I think she's going to try and keep rolling this, try and keep recruiting other riders to join her up the road. All right, so we are showing 21 laps to go here on the lap counter on the line. They have just switched from the clock over the lap counter, and now we're going to be showing 21 laps to go on the counter.
She's a former national champion. For her to be able to do some damage here a little bit later on in the race.
Back out to Milligan on the front. Going to be looking for Michaela McPherson in here. We listed earlier her trade team, but I think she is wearing the Milligan University kit out here, number 161.
Rebecca Lane coasting through that turn. Number 4, trying to get someone to come by again. Strong rider. Doesn't want to wait for the sprint. Wrestling rider Strelick finally released. They've been chasing each other non-stop. So now they're strutting across the road, trying to catch their breath. Taking a little bit easy, one time up the climb. And so now, this is where things can get a little bit tricky as riders are trying to
Back up the hill. More aggression up the left side of the group now. This is awesome racing tonight in Anniston. It's going to be Shannon Koch leading the way here. Koch is desperately trying to get some help. She just flicked the elbow to Liza Ray behind her. Ray took over, but not quite with the urgency I think that Shannon Koch is looking for here. Be curious to know if there's anyone Koch is trying to get rid of here, if there's anyone she's targeting or worried about in this group. Say any of those names we introduced on the front row, I wouldn't want to take in a sprint. So if you can find yourself isolated in a group, that's best case scenario here. Now Liza Ray punching a hole through the wind here. Shannon Koch happy to sit in that one. Megan Lester starting to move up in this group as well for the Milligan squad. Saw her third wheel just a little bit further back there. But more importantly, you see the group all together out of turn 3 and headed to turn 4 here, despite the best efforts of a few different groups. The other thing you got to consider here are preems and point laps still to come. If you're targeting that mid-race point sprint, you maybe start thinking about that a little more now. Looks like some riders going to be coming back from the pit here, obviously getting the free lap reinserted back into the field. There's the reinsert. Didn't catch a number there coming out. Maybe Eleanor Finlayson. Team Flicker rider out of Atlanta. Either way, back up and rolling. Another little gap here. Cracks in the foundation. That's how these start. Oh, the bottle popped out on course.
Riders spread out across the road because they know what's coming up. Ring the bell, ring the bell.
And as we go down to 18 laps to go, they're going to ring the bell for the mid-race point sprint coming up here. So this will be halfway through our elite women's race, 30 minutes in with 18 laps to go, and now mid-race points on the line.
Dawn, nice job. High five, expert bell ringing.
see Heidi Praderas in Kingdom Elite jersey, the purple jersey off to the left-hand side there, once again frustrated. Going to exchange some words across the field here. Not sure if those are words of encouragement or otherwise. Now City Bikes takes over here. Look at all the looking around. Everybody looking over the shoulder. Debbie Milne starting to move up the outside here. All right, so Liza Ray going to lead them around the final corner here. Praderas in good position, second wheel. We'll see when she pops out. And again, going 5 deep on the sprint across the line. A lot of waiting going on here this time up. Debbie Milne going to get a little look into the wind. And now they'll start the sprint just as they get to the top of that climb. 2 going to go to the line together. And that'll be Team Winston-Salem making the most out of that one. So now back to work, back into the group. And another split coming off of this sprint. Uh-oh, hold on. This could be important here. One more going. A critical time in the timeline of this breakaway right now. This is where races are won and lost. Right here, the initial forming of the breakaway. Liza Ray gonna lead them. Oh man, look at this gap. These riders have a legit shot at getting a breakaway that stays away here. Three right now, 2 in the gap. Actually, call that 4 in the front group. This is going to become 6 really quick. That front group not doing what they need to do to keep these 2 out. They are staying away from this field. Now the door's open and everybody trying to walk through. Fortunately, I don't think this front group is able to get organized quick enough to get away. Backside seems to be the place to do it. If you're looking for a place to split it, it has consistently come on the backside here. Liza Ray knows it. That's why she's staying on this, looking over the shoulder. And there's the field just behind Ray. So I think that's going to be it for Liza Ray's solo foray off the front. All right, well, as that group comes back together, we'll wait for the next one. Let's go back out to Jenna Foley, roaming around the venue. Jenna, who or where are you now?
I'm right in the middle of VIP with some very special people who help make everything happening here at Sunny King Criterium take place. For all of you watching at home and those who are racing today, we're here with someone really special, Vernon Thomas. Tell us, how are you involved with the race today, and how long have you been involved with Sunny King?
So I've been with Sunny King for 41 years, and of course we've been with the Criterium for 23 years. I'm the general manager of the Toyota dealership, and we sponsor the Kids Zone. So we pay for the Kids Zone so that when the parents and the family are out, the kids get to play and enjoy the event just like everybody else, and everything is taken care of. And of course, you know, we do T-shirts and little other things, but it's a great community event, and look how it has evolved.
It's a beautiful event. It is people like you who make it so special. I'm telling you, all the fun is here in VIP, Brad.
It's people like Miss King who make it special, because you know, all the years that Sunny, when he was alive, he sponsored a lot of things, and when he passed on, she kept it going. And to bring something to our community, a small town like this, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It is awesome. Such a warm, small town feel. And we're having so much fun out here. I know they're suffering out there in the race, but we get to enjoy it right here in VIP.
I love it here in Anniston. Really no place like it. What this community puts together, the support of the city, the businesses, really everyone involved in putting this bike race on. It's an incredible effort to see all the work that goes in and to see the changes happening here in Anniston. If you've raced here before, Anniston changes every year. We come back for this race, and it's been amazing to see this downtown revitalized, the city continuing to grow. And the good news continues to roll into Anniston here. They just finished the completion into downtown on what's called the Chief Ladiga Trail. It's a very cool rail trail they have down here in Anniston, Alabama, and just recently completed the connector to get it to downtown. So just a couple blocks away from the course here. You can jump on and ride, I think, 80, 90 uninterrupted paved miles on that Chief Ladiga Trail. It's really great riding. Meanwhile, Kingdom Elites, Alina Quevedo slipping away off the front here. And she is rocking this gap. Field not worried at all. One solo rider away in this wind is not a great shot on paper, but 14 laps to go. I would say it's maybe doable here. This is the kind of ride where a rider like Quevedo can surprise this entire field and come away with a solo win. It's really going to depend on the form that she's on tonight, but more importantly, the reaction from this field. If they all keep looking around at each other like this, riding across the road, Quevedo's going to stay away tonight. So eventually somebody in this group is going to have to take charge. And look, now you see the veterans coming forward. That's Debbie Milne right in the middle. There's Erica Carney in the green and white right next to her. So these are the riders that realize what's happening. They see the riding on the wall with that rider away. Here's Shannon Coate coming now. Peter Mullins also going to get to the front. So that tells me that now they're worried about this breakaway. The fact that all four of those riders have made their way to the front of the group, that is a very clear indication that this has gotten out of hand. So Alina Quevedo has this field right where she wants them with a nice gap here. The question is, did she go too early? She's got to try and stay away for 13 more laps here with some major teams and riders trying to chase her. Great blocking going on back in the field from that Kingdom Elite squad. Shannon Coate doing exactly what she needs to do for the team, getting up there and slowing things down. And now she adds another few seconds to this gap. Alina Quevedo on an incredible ride out here. Quevedo head down here. She's going to be out of sight. This is incredible. Heck, the gap's so big here, they put a moto into the gap, so that is now out of sight. She has just gone around turn 4 as the field comes around turn 3 here, so Quevedo ringing some panic bells in this group.
What's crazy right now is looking at that red screen. Why there are no other purple jerseys a little bit further up? There's Shannon Coate trying to be able to go up there. She has another team with that. I like to see. Purple jerseys need to disrupt the team. their teammates to have a chance at winning. Kingdom Elite in the purple jerseys need to disrupt the chase. They need to slow things down. From Marks Bernsdorf Cycling, that's going to be Claire Avery.
This field really starting to worry now. They are full single file back in the group, and I would be too, because the way that Quevedo is riding here and the way that the field responded earlier, the scale certainly tipped in Quevedo's favor. Boy, Shannon Koch doing an amazing job. I cannot stress enough how great of a teammate Koch is being right now as they roll through, seeing 12 laps to go on the counter. As they roll by, I want to welcome Jenna Foley into the booth with me. She's been out rolling around the venue. Welcome back, Jenna. Nice to have you on headset here.
Thank you so much. I love it up here in the booth. It's great out there on the course. Stopped by VIP, said hello to some of the incredible people that helped make this race happen. It's a beautiful day in Anniston. It's great to make it up to the booth and be here with all of you, talk about what's happening.
You know, you got a chance to talk to some of the people down in VIP. The vibe here in Anniston, and I don't use that term lightly, but there really is a vibe here. And it's like everything we love about small town America.
Yes,
it's everything we love about Main Street, Noble Street behind us.
Incredible.
It's
Absolutely
neighbors
incredible.
hanging out with neighbors. We don't get that enough.
We don't get that enough. And as a Northeastern girl, I told a couple of gentlemen over in VIP, I said, I wish I could scoop up this event and take it back home with me and put it down in Philadelphia. Yeah, the organization is incredible. The team here is incredible. And yeah, I've met so many people. I've talked to locals sitting outside on their stoops, just taking in the bike race. Young people, old people, it's what you'd want to see. And it's really heartwarming to see the incredible job that they're doing putting on this race here in Anniston.
They got a great show out there tonight. How about Quevedo out here, this solo rider getting away? You want to talk about taking a gamble and it paying off so far?
I'm rooting
Things
for
going
it.
really well here.
I'm absolutely rooting for it. And watching how they're going to respond, they have what, 12 laps left to go. I know I'm very excited to see how the group will respond to it and if she could keep it together for that.
Maybe a wild card out here tonight as they roll their way back through the line. Again, the fate of this race is in the hands of those riders chasing behind them, so it's really up to them. They're not organized, but they are chasing now. So Quevedo's got some chase coming, but we'll keep an eye on it and see if she can stay away here for what is now 11 laps on the counter here. Jenna, I think we'll send you back out to see if you can get some interviews. We're going to have a winner here pretty soon, so we'll chat with them. Jenna, thank you so much. It's so nice having you here in Anniston.
Looking very favorable for our one sole leader as she is gradually getting picked up. So Elena Corvardo starting to wear down the rider from Cuba.
Unfortunately, this is starting to trend the wrong direction here for Quevedo as this gap's starting to come down. At this point, the math not mathing to stay away with 11 laps to go. This group of two brought back a significant chunk in just about a lap and a half. Quevedo might be better advised to wait up here.
We went from 30 seconds to 25 seconds to 17 seconds.
Gap down to 17 seconds right now.
Come on, Alina, 10 laps to go.
Crowd starting to get behind Quevedo here. They would love to see a solo winner here in Anniston. Got to give some credit to Liza Ray here as well, chasing back on the front of the field. Ray, another one of the most aggressive riders in this field for sure. Not afraid to ride on the front. In fact, I think Liza Ray may have spent the most time with her nose in the wind up until Quevedo made this move to get away. But now Ray has been almost solely in charge of bringing it back. Obviously, her teammate of Quevedo not going to contribute here. So Ray's on her own, and she's going to find herself in a Kingdom Elite sandwich here.
Our leader's been brought back in.
And that's going to be it. See the quick ask here from Liza Ray, saying, you want to work? And I think she got her answer. So now Praderis and Quevedo got Lazare in this breakaway. Praderis, the Kingdom Elite rider that sat right on Lazare and came up. And then Samantha Clark leading the field for the chase. Here's a nice move up the right side, seeing that this chase is coming back. You want to launch before that catch is made, try and go right over the top of him, especially on this uphill section. We'll see who this is. Absolutely launching up the right side here. Ray back up to the front. I see what's happening here. So that was one of the Milligan riders getting up there, and I think it was McPherson. Question is, though, is she going to try and bridge this or drag it back? McPherson can absolutely do it, one of the top riders in this field, but I'm not seeing the separation that she needs up at the front of the main group. Got a teammate, got some help. And now this is just like fighting a big fish. Just tire them out, slowly reel them in here. See if we get any more conversation. They're trying to get organized. We just haven't seen the right combination of riders come together, link up, and figure this out yet. Although there have been some promising moves off the front. I don't know that anyone is going to let much go here at 9 laps to go, but we'll see. Winston-Salem back up here. This is a good time in the race. This is where you start seeing riders that have really just been waiting for this scenario starting to make their way forward. Peta Mullins going to be a great example here. Mullins could have followed those moves, but she wants this to come down to a sprint because she's one of the best sprinters in this field. Whether or not she's the best on an uphill sprint with some wind, that remains to be determined, but I think a rider like Peta Mullins probably wants this to stay together. She's smart enough and confident enough to let that breakaway roll away, knowing that it was probably coming back, as they're going to go down to 8 laps to go on the line here. And another 3 starting to sneak away. Really is amazing to see how quickly these gaps form. Just about a quarter lap from the bottom of that hill, but this is really why, because no one's willing to do the work to chase those 3. They're all kind of looking around. It's about to get very interesting. If this gap continues to grow for another lap or 2, the odds of these 3 staying away drastically increase here. Some of the crowd starting to get behind this breakaway, that's for sure. I think that's Claire Abry. 130 there in the kind of red, white, and blue jersey. That black jersey, probably Ruth Allen. Her team Flicker, and I'll get you a confirmation as they come back to the line here and lock in 3rd. Down to 7 to go on the counter. Gap holding steady. This has got to be at least 8, maybe 10 seconds back to the field, but this one is starting to fall apart. As they're going to lose Ruth Allen. Donius Vera, the City Bikes rider up here. Just got to look at 184. That'll be the black jersey with Claire Abry wearing number 130 for the Marks Bensdorf BPC squad. Let's see if we get a look behind him here. At what? One rider coming across the gap, and then not a lot left back in the field. This one going, maybe gone here at 7 laps to go. We talked about the impact that some of these collegiate riders have had on this race. Jenna is down with some of those collegiate riders right now, enjoying their race. Jenna.
I'm out here in the middle of all of the action, and I have one very special collegiate rider with me. Tell us your name and who you ride for.
I'm Sammy McPherson, and I ride for Milligan.
Shout out to Milligan because we saw a very strong presence from you guys today. How did your race go?
I won the BC Women's Collegiate Riding. So
amazing, congratulations. What happened in that race that led to your win?
I had a really good teammate and everyone, and I was able to just have a good last finish, so it was really exciting and just fun to be out here with all the big crowd.
Such a huge crowd, and congratulations on your win. How many riders does Milligan have out here today?
We have about 35 riders. So
35 riders. That is incredible. Congratulations to you. What an awesome, awesome part of Sunny King, seeing so many of our collegiate riders having such a strong presence, especially riders like Sammy from Milligan. She's amazing.
All right, ringing the bell as they roll through the line. Sprint points on the line here. I don't know that either of these riders will be interested in the points here. I think they are going to try and roll this one away, so I wouldn't expect to see a sprint out of these two. You got a chance to win the bike race here. I don't know that 5 lap to go sprint is going to be enough to throw you off that scent. I think they're still working with each other in this scenario right now, but we'll see. Someone wants to jump. About halfway up that finish line run here. There's the bridge behind him at the bottom of the hill. Yeah, so they're going to sweep those points without contesting it. Points go 5 deep on the line. And now gap starting to come down. Rebecca Lang doing a lot of work to bring back some time. Went from 10 down to 6, so trend in the wrong direction for our breakaway riders here. And now you're starting to see this gap almost equidistant from the first group to the second group, the second group to the third group, and then I'm going to go ahead and call that a fourth group back behind there. This one is falling apart at the seams. This will be a chaotic last final laps of this elite women's race. Going to be one of the most exciting finishes to this race that we've seen in a long time here in Anniston. You are in for a good one here in 2025.
The German rider, Rebecca Lang, are the ones trying to be able to bring them back. There they are in the street.
Again, Claire Abry and Donius Vera, the two up front. And then Ruth Allen, I think, into fourth.
Put your hands together and cheer on. Claire Abry, Donius Vera. 4 to go, 4 to go, 4 to go. 5 seconds is the gap. 5 seconds is the gap.
Abry and Vera losing a little more time this time through. 4 laps on the counter.
Right in front of you. Those are your leaders. Here comes the field now.
this chase going to be the big question up here. Jet Aiken in the yellow here. Remember, started the first breakaway of the night for the German rider on the Savannah College of Art and Design squad. Let's see if Jet Aiken can find her way back up to this front group with 4 laps to go.
The German, who has won every collegiate race there's been here in the Southeast Conference so far, is in the second group. Have to be able to watch out for her, but the German rider, yes.
All right, so 2 away, 2 chasing, 2 behind them, and then the rest of the field trying to work their way up. At 4 laps to go, these 2 have a shot, but it's not a great shot. Better than nothing here. If this one does come together, it's going to be relatively late in the race, and that'll be a perfect scenario for the sprinters here.
Now on the front, she's got a little bit of comfortable. Adonia Zavera coming out of Miami.
I'll bring Jenna Foley back into the booth here. You've been out to chat with some of those riders. More importantly, you've been out in the wind. You know what these conditions are like. It is not easy out there, especially for these small groups of riders. What are you thinking for this lead group of 2? Did they go too early? Can they do this? Is it possible?
I think it's possible, but I'm an eternal optimist, and I'm just always rooting for anyone who's taking the risk and riding aggressively. So I think it's possible. But again, you mentioned the wind. I'm out there. I'm on the course, and it's windy for me, and I'm not on a bike trying to, put down watts and win a bike race. So it's one of the factors that we're definitely watching and how it affects these 2. And there isn't a huge field where anybody can hide. There's no hiding from the wind. There's no tucking in or avoiding, It's strung out. It's in bunches, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited. I'm hoping for an electric sprint finish.
Well,
that's my hope.
Either way, it's going to be an exciting finish, whether it's a small group that comes to the line together, or maybe this group of what is now, I think, 7 riders who have come back together stay away. They've got a couple more on the way up. This one really could go a lot of different ways.
There's so much that could happen.
And I would even say there's still time for a new breakaway to get away here. I think that's going to be it for the front of this bike race. If you're not in this lead group of 7, you are not winning the 2025 Sunny King Criterium. So the first selection has been made, and now this group has to figure out how they're going to sort out the podium. City Bike's doing a nice job back in the field, locking things down, making sure that breakaway is going to stay. I think there are enough riders in that front group now with teammates back in the main field that that'll be enough to shut down and neutralize any chasing going on here. So there's not many riders or teams left that aren't represented in the breakaway and would be willing to chase. So now as they go down to 2 laps to go, this will be your winning group across the line. Samantha Clark going to lead them through. How cool is it to see these collegiate riders out here ripping it up? Their second race of the day. We watched them race earlier today, got a little recovery, and now back out there watching. There is some real talent in the pipeline for American cyclists.
Talent and strength. I've watched them ride very, very strong, dominant performances all throughout the collegiate races, and then to watch them jump back out there and do it again and ride very strong in this pro women's race, and many of them probably will do it again in our next race, the pro men. So it is very exciting to see that they're doubling up, showing a very dominant performance. I'm sure they're making their colleges and universities very proud. I felt proud talking to Sammy out there, and it was just cool to see how proud her teammates from Milligan were. They've got a group of 30-plus riders out here, and that's just so cool to see.
Milligan's got 2 in this breakaway, including Michaela McPherson, who will without a doubt be their sprinter out of this group. So I think you're going to see Samantha Clark doing most of the work on the front for these remaining 2 laps, and then they'll try and get McPherson into a sprint here. Huge advantage to have 2 riders in this breakaway for the Milligan University squad.
Yeah.
Shannon Koch desperately trying to go here. You got to give Shannon some credit. Despite her best efforts tonight to try to sort of manage how this race went, she finds herself on the wrong side of the move, but not for a lack of effort.
Reeled back in. It's also amazing to watch the crowds respond to how animated this race has been, cheering on their teammates, cheering on other riders who are from their club or their team. That's been really cool to see.
I just caught Samantha Clark as they're coming through the line here, looking at the Jumbotron off to her right-hand
Sneaking a
side.
peek.
She's looking over and up, trying to see if she can get a look at the gap. Instead of having to look over the shoulder, it's a much easier way to get a good idea of what's going on.
And
so
for someone who is a little bit newer and is watching these last few laps play out, at what point do teammates then start to become competitors? Is it something that
Never.
a lot of these teams come in and they're just like, this is who we're riding for and this is who we want to win? Talk us through how that plays out. As someone maybe who's consuming cycling for the first time.
Yeah, I would say the only time you're going to see a change out here would be if your leader passes it on, right? If Michaela McPherson is the rider and she goes and says, hey, Sammy, I just don't have it today. I need you to sprint. That would really be the only scenario. But in a situation like this, I think like Milligan, we'll continue to use them as an example. They know who the best sprinter is here, and it's really, truly about getting your team a win, who's the best equipped to do it. I think that's McPherson here, but Samantha Clark is a great bike racer too, so we're going to find out.
Very close to crowning a winner. Very close to crowning a winner of this 60-plus minute bike race as they're coming into the very last lap.
That's Claire Avery on the front, the red, white, and blue of the Marks Bensdorf cycling team. An unenviable position to be in, leading this group out onto the finish here. So now they're going to spread out. This one will go 5 wide in the sprint to the line here. Get those cameras ready. This one going to be a tight one. Milligan going to open it up here from the top. They will stay away. And I think a 1 and 3 with Samantha Clark on the front after doing all the work on the last lap. Clark holds on, and she will win for Milligan. Samantha Clark gets it done, and I think they got McPherson up onto the podium as well. We'll wait for confirmation there. What a ride for Milligan. Confirming Clark, McPherson, and Aiken. The collegiate riders going to go 1. And I think Winston-Salem got it there. So that'll be 1 and 3. Man, what a ride for Milligan. All the credit in the world. Rebecca Lang debriefing with the riders. I think she's going to be good for second place on the podium, as our pro woman put on an absolute show out there tonight. Without a doubt, one of the best races we've had in Anniston for a long time here. Oh, what's happening here? Hate to see this on the last lap. Remember, we saw some really strong riding up there from Jet Aiken. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see if we can go back and find it. Either way, on the cool down lap now, a successful campaign here in Anniston, Alabama for the Milligan University women's cycling team. What a ride, 1 and 3 on the podium. Looks like our elite men have already made their way out onto course. We'll see if we can get them through and try and grab a word with 1 and 3. There you go, confirmation as
we're getting ready for rider introductions and our call-ups.
we might go back and correct these. I'm not 100% sure about this here. We'll wait for confirmation.
Once again, welcome to 23rd Sunny King Criterium. We're going to start off riding.
All right, pro women wrapped up, pro men lined up, getting ready for their call-ups. We're going to take a quick break here from Anniston, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to the front row of your elite men's field.
What is great internet? Is it fast? Is it strong? Is it reliable? At Sparklight, we believe the best connections are the ones you can't always see. From helping hands, to homecomings, to moments that matter. The best connections are always there, right when you need them. So how do you know it's great internet? Because it works. We're Sparklight, and we're always working for you.
For every action, there's a reaction. For every late night check-in, every early morning routine, every episode that you just wish wouldn't end. There are thousands of actions making it all possible. From the little things, to the big things, to the couldn't live without them things. There are hardworking people doing everything in their power to power everything you do.
Sunny King Automotive Group is proud to sponsor the king of all crits, the Sunny King Criterium. Our award-winning dealerships aim for excellence every day, just like the amateur and professional cyclists competing for the crown. Sunny King Automotive Group.
There is your front row lined up and finishing up their call-ups on the front row as we get ready for 75 minutes of elite men's racing. Up next, let's introduce you to the front row getting their call-ups right now. Starting on the very left side of the line, a new team for Fergus Arthur. Riding for the CRCA Foundation team, changing squads this year. Fergus Arthur going to be a big factor in this race, and I'm very excited to see how he races with this new CRCA Foundation team and kind of how he fits into this move. So it's a new era of bike racing with Fergus Arthur on the CRCA Foundation team. Next to him, Frank Travieso, the veteran in this field. Maybe nobody with more race starts in this race than Frank Travieso. New team for him as well, riding with Team Flicker here in the all-black jersey, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Weimar Roldan next to him, the Colombian, riding for the Bikers cycling team, a new squad this year with a lot of international riders, a lot of international talent in that kind of white and red jersey, so that Bikers cycling team, I think, going to be a big factor in American bike racing this year. Up next, Lucas Bourgogne getting the call up for the Cadence cycling team. I think that is, they put his teammate Luke Fetzer up there, but that is Lucas Bourgogne from Team Cadence Cycling. And then I think that's going to be Luke Harris next to him for Kingdom Elite Racing, another American on that D1 squad. They're going to be competing through all of the USA CRITS stops. In fact, our first 5 riders, CRCA, Team Flicker, Bikers Cycling Team, Cadence Cycling Team, and Kingdom Elite Racing are all USA CRITS D1 teams. They also gave a call up to Zach Threat next to him, the Skyway cycling rider out of Alabama. And then it was Gibbons, Perry, Walton, and then maybe your 2 best riders out there tonight with Michael Garrison and Alfredo Rodriguez. Those are going to be the 2 that I'm watching.
Head on in there, you'll get your free lift if you have a mechanical or problem. Do not ride backwards. top 3 for the podium immediately afterwards. And I think that pretty much
There's a good look at Thomas Gibbons right there.
the 23rd Sunny King Criterium.
I think that'll be Kyle Perry next to him out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Jonas Walton going to go next. Boy, Walton could have a good race tonight. The current junior hour record and U23 time trial champion. Then comes Michael Garrison, a weapon on the bike out of Atlanta, Georgia. And your two-time and defending champ, Alfredo Rodriguez, out of La Paz, Mexico. The last call-up of the night, wearing number 1. Defending champ for that City Bikes team. Obviously, all eyes on him, but that opens the door to a lot of these other riders that are going to have a shot tonight. So 75 minutes of racing, ready to go.
You may be pulled, so respect the commissar's decision on that. Riders, we are 1 minute out. 1 minute out.
And that'll be the 1 minute warning for the race start here. Sold out field here in Anniston.
Race number 1 of the USA Crit Series.
I think they limit this one at 110. So a maxed out, sold out 110 field as the sun starts to go down. And we begin our 23rd Pro Men's race here in Anniston, Alabama.
Coming down to 15 seconds out. Clip in, buckle up, and strap on those helmets. You're going to be going on the whistle. We're underway.
And there we go, off and rolling. And a fast start off the line. I just watched Alfredo Rodriguez in a full-on sprint up the inside here. The race is already on to turn number 1. Jonas Walton up to the front. If you are looking for an easy race tonight, seeing Jonas Walton take over early on is your worst-case scenario, because this guy has specialized in long, solo, sustained efforts. Our record holder and current time trial national champion. This guy is extremely dangerous on the front of the bike race. These guys know it. That's why they're going with him. Rodriguez, Gibbons, and a few more are going to chase him here. Automatic going to keep some riders up at the front here. It's another storied team in American Criterium Racing. Been here to Anniston many times under the direction of Thomas Gibbons. And now we just wait for the inevitable split. Not a question of if, but when some riders start to get away here. See Garrison right on the back there, number 38. That white helmet just at the bottom of the picture. Super efficient, barely pedaling on the way down here. He's letting these riders on the front do all the work. And it's working, it's paying off. Snaking out of turn 4. Automatic trying to get off the front. Rest of the field having none of it. Walton back up on the right side here. Jonas Walton running with that Project Echelon team, the American-based squad who has been spending more and more time racing in Europe. They've sort of transitioned into a pretty successful road campaign in the last few years. They'll make a few trips over to Europe and stay for a few weeks, a few races. But lending Jonas Walton to the American program tonight here in Anniston, and we're going to see what kind of damage Walton can do with just one rider. No Project Echelon teammates in here for Jonas Walton, but you don't need teammates when you're an hour record holder and time trial national champion. Still nobody able to get away here, despite their best efforts. We saw at this point in the women's race, the split had already gone, and so I'm wondering if we may be in for, hopefully not, but a boring night of bike racing if these guys aren't able to get away. Speaking of that women's race, Jenna is with some of our winners. Let's go down to Jenna Foley.
That's right, incredible performances from our collegiate athletes, especially from Milligan. And we have our winner, Sam, who just won the program in 1-2. Talk to us about that last lap. What was the moment where you were like, I really am about to win this bike race?
Well, I kind of didn't even know. Like, just going in, I was just thinking, my coach just yelled at me, like, it was like 3-4 to go. He was just like, get Michaela there. So I just started doing like the most massive effort in the last few laps. Once I caught the other riders, I just was like, oh shoot, we have a break. And no one else really wanted to work. So I was like, okay, gotta keep the break. Just gotta keep the break. And really not until my coach told me to pull off, just hang on the back, like try to get the end. I really was just coming up on the left and I was like, oh, I might get this. It was just this last straight, I was like, oh, I could have this. But I really didn't know until like the end.
Unbelievable. And what does it feel like having so many amazing teammates out there?
It was so awesome. It was so fun just knowing I had my back, because like when I did this race last year, it was just me on my team and I just had to fight for whatever I could get. And I was tired after the first race last year.
Incredible performance today. Congratulations to you and your team and to all the athletes here from Milligan. We love having you here in Anniston. Congratulations again. Yep. Back to you guys.
I'll ring the bell for the point sprint lap here. This will be the 5-lap in at USA CRITS sprint coming up here. And this will also be our first indication of who's interested in these USA CRITS points. Walton going to look over, see if he can get up there. Going to make the catch on automatic racing here. And now this just becomes a matter of timing and positioning. This might be Tim Rudd, automatic rider, that was leading him around on the front. That's going to change here, as I think the bikers cycling team trying to get up there. They're all going to come across the line together. Not a ton of interest in the rest of those points after the 2 go clear. So here you go, got the split. Kyle Perry going to tack onto the back. And Field taking inventory up there. little bit of a gap here. Back to Weimar Roldan, number 82 there. He could probably afford to tighten this one up a little bit. And a very uninterested field back behind him. Kingdom Elite trying to get the train started here. Perry and Roldan still away up the road. There they are. Now they're starting to get this dialed in, starting to work together a little bit better. Gap is about 6 seconds. Back to the group. This is also right in these two guys' wheelhouse. Perry and Roldan, excellent in these scenarios. Not only because they're both strong, but they're smart. They're able to work together. They're able to cooperate. That's the most important thing in these scenarios. And Perry and Roldan have both spent significant time in breakaways throughout their career. So these guys know what they need to do. It's just a matter of whether the engine has the horsepower to give. Boy, Jonas Walton doing a lot of work to stay up near the front of this one. He's nervous. For good reason. If you watch that pro women's race, you see how quickly things can get out of hand if you're not on the front patrolling, covering, and making moves. It only takes one bad lap to miss a good move. Perry and Roldan not gaining time here, but not losing time. Kyle Perry in the white, Weimar Roldan, the biker cycling team behind him. And again, Kyle Perry riding with that First Internet Bank cycling team. Just hasn't updated the license yet. Looks like things are going to calm down back in the main group. Bunch of Cadence jerseys getting up there, or at least starting to. So now we'll take a look at who's in the gap trying to go across. It's going to be Scad and Automatic. The Alejandro Carpio, the Scad rider. I'll get a number here.
Wymer Roldan, coming out of Colombia, talked about him, a previous Pan American champion, previous national road race champion as well.
It's going to be Vicente Hernandez out of Atlanta, the Scad rider.
Racing at the Lexus Velodrome, picking up some speed. Once again, these riders going for 75 minutes.
Big wind gusts blowing across the stage where we are right now. I can only imagine how it feels for those guys stuck in the gap.
That's Perry on the front. That's Roldan sitting in second position. Here come the chasers. Scattered Automatic Racing.
Now just Chalmers, the Automatic rider up there in the orange.
Joseph Chalmers. That's Lucas Borgone in that green jersey, having a little bit of fun with the crowd. The Texan Cowboy. He likes riding in the back. He's definitely one of the favorites for today.
Kyle Perry setting tempo here. This one will come back. Just Chalmers going to roll this whole group up there. Saw Andy Crater making an appearance up there. See, they both look back at the same time, realizing what's coming up the road here.
As a reminder, a little bit later on, USA CRITS and Speed Week as we're getting ready for a bunch of races coming up.
And meanwhile, there's been action at the front. Been watching these guys, keeping an eye on things at the back. Looks like these guys going to pull up at the front. Great opportunity here for a counter. Great time to go and try and make a move here.
He's out for revenge. He wants to be able to win here again, and he is fast as well. A super sprinter is what they call him.
A lot of SCAD jerseys up here. Look at this, in the pit. What happened here? Weimar rolled on out of the front group. Seems pretty calm. This must just be a mechanical. Doesn't look like he's in there for a crash. See if we can get him locked in and figure out what went wrong. Meanwhile, SCAD on the attack here. They got two up on the front. Once again, the collegiate rider is going to be a major factor in this pro race as the Savannah College of Art and Design team putting two up on the front here. That's Kingdom Elite and CRCA behind him. There's the elbow flick for SCAD. They want to make this work. Starting to fall apart, though. I'll be interested to see what CRCA does here. I think I just saw him mouth no. But we'll see. Never know. Seeing a lot of calm faces in this group. These guys not worried about what's happening up there. You see Alfredo Rodriguez right up near the front, not willing to chase here. These guys going to hold on to the gap, but not really gaining any time coming back. Meanwhile, more riders into the pit here. I think that's Patrick Bischoff, University of Cincinnati cycling team. Juan Barboza going to take over here, CRCA rider.
Riders coming out of the pit, they have a mechanical, so that could give an indication to the riders that are going by that there's a rider coming out on the left-hand side of the road, re-entering into the race. That's called the free lap rule.
Gap going out for these two. Quietly adding time here. Elbow flick on the front. Boy, those guys got a nice rhythm going. Shea Wright doing a great job in the yellow jersey there. Taking over, and now big move coming up to try to join those guys. This looks like Butcher Box on the way with Kyle Teasler flying through the line and trying to go across. There you go, some riders going back in. I think that was Weimar Roldan just now getting the push back in. Well, now these guys starting to come back. It's going to be Michael Garrison in the green, reeling this one back in. You see how calm he is. Garrison knows that he really doesn't need to worry about these guys. He knew that he'd be able to reel it in. He's going to bring a lot of riders with him. They want to jump right on there. So we saw some riders down in the pit. Seems like action's starting to heat up down there. Let's go down to Jeddah and see if we can figure out what's going on in the Comp Edge Racing neutral support pit.
What's going on is the question of the pit. I've been standing down here just kind of watching the action riders coming in. Doesn't seem like from crashes or anything like that. Just tons of mechanicals. And honestly, I think it just comes with bike racing. I've seen everything from pedals, a rider from Bikers that just re-entered the race this last lap. It looked like they were reattaching his pedal, like maybe his pedals were coming off or loose. So I've seen lots of flat tires, lots of mechanicals. But hey, that's bike racing. So I love personally standing down here and watching everything, watching the mechanics do their thing. And shout out to all the volunteers and the mechanics that help make sure that these bike races happen smoothly. But that is one of those things, though, that for a rider could really throw off your game, throw off your strategy, is heading into the pit, and that's not somewhere that you want to be. So we're keeping an eye on things, the action happening down here. Nothing too crazy, just a lot of mechanicals.
Meanwhile, action out on course as Garrison gets to the front and longingly looks back at the other riders he's trying to split here. He's sensing that there may be an opportunity here. Well, good thing for those Comp Edge neutral support pits. They've had a bunch of customers in this pro men's race, and I think they've all been mechanicals. I don't think these riders are going in because they've gone down, so they're making their way back in. This group pretty much all back together, snaking their way up to the top of this climb here. So we'll take a quick break here from Anniston, Alabama. Keep our eye on these guys, see if anyone splits. Meanwhile, I want to thank some sponsors, and we'll be right back from the Sunny King Crit.
For every action, there's a reaction. For every late night check-in, every early morning routine, every episode that you just wish wouldn't end, there are thousands of actions making it all possible. From the little things to the big things, to the couldn't live without them things. There are hardworking people doing everything in their power to power everything you do.
Surf's up, y'all. Get ready for splashes and crashes as I try to ride tasty waves with pro surfer Cassia Metter.
Surfing is about being in communication with the ocean.
I saw its eyeball.
Sunny King Automotive Group is proud to sponsor the king of all crits, the Sunny King Criterium. Our award-winning dealerships aim for excellence every day, just like the amateur and professional cyclists competing for the crown. Sunny King Automotive Group.
What is great internet? Is it fast? Is it strong? Is it reliable? At Sparklight, we believe the best connections are the ones you can't always see. From helping hands, to homecomings, to moments that matter. The best connections are always there, right when you need them. So how do you know it's great internet? Because it works. We're Sparklight, and we're always working for you.
Welcome back to the second second annual Outside Festival, presented by Capital One REI.
Welcome back to our live coverage presented by Sparklight. Without them, none of this would be possible. Powering our live stream with their fiber optic network. We move over 30 terabytes over their fiber optic network here in Anniston to help bring you the live pictures that you're seeing tonight. So big thank you to Sparklight Internet for their support of the Sunny King Criterium and bringing you the live stream tonight.
Coming here. Especially to Raymond James. Big thank you to Raymond James supporting our kids race and our Sunny King Criterium.
All right, back out on course. We are starting to show laps here on the line. Looks like leaders going to see 32 laps to go on the line. So now we get our first lap count of the night at 32 laps to go, and a little action on the front from First Internet Bank cycling team. Saw Kyle Perry off the front earlier. And now they're going to send Riley Wrightsman out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin away. Wrightsman, another collegiate rider. He races for that Milligan University program. He's wearing his trade team kit here, raced collegiately in the collegiate races, and then at First Internet Bank squad tonight in the pro races. That's him in the white jersey on the left-hand side of your screen with the elbow flick. It's Ruben Campagnoni in the black jersey, another veteran in this field. You talk about a rider with a lot of experience. Campagnoni has raced at the highest level, both road and criterium events. But he's at the front of the field. So we'll call this 6 coming together. All right, well, this is going to be the split right here. I would say that this will be a pretty clear line drawn in the sand. And I think Butcher Box and Automatic going to be the last 2 to go in. I would expect these are probably teammates at the front of the field. Yeah, that's Kyle Perry working for Riley Wrightsman up there. Remember, Wrightsman in that white jersey for First Internet Bank. So looks like we have now seen what will be the first major split of the night. I do think this one sticks at 32 laps to go. Sticks for at least another few laps, I should say. I don't know that it's going to stick all the way to the line, but we'll find out in 32 laps. Meanwhile, I want to bring Jenna Foley into the booth with me. Been running around, but we're going to ground you back here in the booth as we welcome you back. Is the wind dying down out there? Is it starting to calm down a little bit?
Not really. It ebbs and flows. There's a lot of wind, and then all of a sudden it'll take a break, and then as soon as they probably are encouraged by the lack of wind, right back it comes. Yeah. So, you've talked a lot about the breaks that we're seeing happen and at what point those start and form and some of the strategy that we see teams trying to execute with those out here. And at 31, 32 laps to go, at what point are the attacks and the breaks that are forming? Are they to animate the race? Are they to control the race? Is it something that you're trying to attack, get away, catch a lot of daylight between you and the group, and then split up for the rest of the race? What for someone who's still gaining this strategy and what they're watching in a race? Because there's a lot happening when you take in this massive. We have this small group at the front. We have these 4 riders or 3 riders and one trying to catch up to them and make it stick. And is the group behind saying, we're not worried about them. There's so much time. There's so many laps. Are they like, we can still see them. We're not worried? Because I'm worried. I'm worried.
Let's start with the breakaway here. 4 riders up here. The answer to your question is there's 4 different scenarios going on here. There's 4 different strategies. They all have a different reason and plan for being in this breakaway. We just saw Riley Wrightsman completely throw the towel in. Whatever his plan was not being in this breakaway, whether that's a physical, biomechanical issue, or he just didn't like the situation up the road. He's like, you know what, I'm wasting my energy here, but either way, decided to pull the plug. So I would say if you polled those 3 riders up the road, you get 3 different answers answers about why they're there, why they want to be there, what the plan is, how they see this playing out. They could have teammates back in the field. This is kind of like chess, right? It's like, where are you in your chess move? Is this the second move? Is this the fifth move? Is this the ninth move? How far into the chess game are you? And that's sort of the question that we've got to figure out for those three.
And
you see Wrightsman back at the front here. He very clearly just wanted to go back into the group because he's right back to work at the front of the field with Kyle Perry. So I think he just realized, like, you know what, my best chance of shutting this breakaway down is go back, link up with Kyle, work together, and try and drag this one back slowly. But being a passenger in this breakaway when there's three guys that are working well together, one guy can't really mess that up by himself. And so I think Wrightsman maybe realized that and said, I'll just go back, or maybe he just didn't have the legs to stay up there. I don't know.
And if you're the teammate of someone who's looking up the road and you say, man, I have a teammate who's in that breakaway, what are you thinking about and what are you trying to do when you're back here navigating this larger peloton in the back?
You see these guys blocking right here. Take a look at that green jersey. That's Luke Fetzer right there. He's got a Skyline Cadence teammate up in that breakaway. This is a classic team tactic called blocking, where they spread out across the road here, just trying to slow things down. You can't block the entire field. You can't create, obviously, a traffic jam scenario, but you can set a false tempo on the front. If they're willing to let you control the pace, you go up there and just ride a little slower than you know your teammate in green is up there doing. So if those guys are riding, let's say, 28 miles an hour in the breakaway, you ride 25 on the field, you can do the math and figure out that that's all you need. So I think this breakaway is looking good. I like it.
I love a breakaway. For me, it's one of the most exciting things to see. And as a spectator, it's really fun to watch a bike race and sit out there and watching along and to say, like, do you think they're going to make it? Is it going to stick? Are they going to get reeled back in? Some of the most exciting parts of bike racing is when you just get to watch the teams navigate something like a breakaway and slowing down, the blocking tactics, and how it'll play out.
I think the biggest takeaway I've had from this year's weekend of racing is the impact of our collegiate riders in the pro women's race, pro men's race. I don't know what took so long to get these collegiate riders into these pro ranks, but it has been a blast watching these college kids race in the 1-2 field.
It's been so cool to see them, and they'll be the probably long-standing pros that we'll get to watch and root for on these teams, not only this year, but probably into the future. And it was so cool to be out on the course and not only to watch them during their race, but to see how they celebrate one another and cheer from outside of the fence while their teammates might be out there for the men or for the women.
A lot of these riders would have finished their racing at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock earlier today. It is now into just before 7 o'clock local time here. Still out cheering on their riders, or maybe racing if you're one of these riders that doubled up out there today.
Still with our three riders, seem very motivated to work well together and stay away from the group. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for the breakaway.
Gabriel Payne, the rider in the middle, another one of those collegiate riders, found his way into the mix. And then Cesar Cerna is the rider in green we were talking about earlier. You see all his teammates starting to amass up at the front. Lucas Borgone right in the middle there, the green jersey with green shoe covers. And Luke Fetzer right behind him. So calm. You see Burgoyne just said, yep. Just checking in with the teammate, making sure everything is going according to plan. And I would say things are looking pretty good. They got one away in the breakaway. They're controlling a third of this breakaway. And if it does come back, well, they got two fresh sprinters in Burgoyne and Fetzer. So it's win-win for these guys. Either Cerna wins out of the breakaway or Burgoyne and Fetzer have a chance to sprint back in the group. Richard Holick also on that team. I'm not sure what his role will be there, but they brought some hitters. So I'm keeping my eye on those green jerseys tonight.
Green jerseys, very exciting team to watch, very animated, great guys to follow on social media if you're following the racing scene and see all of, what they're doing on the media side of things. And they're fun guys to watch race, too. Very animated. It's love to see the team tactics play out. And maybe we'll see, one of them on the top step at the end of this race.
City Bikes back up here as well. They're going to be working for Alfredo Rodriguez, no question about it. Defending champ, two-time winner. You also have to remember, Rodriguez not only won this race last year, he dominated with Brian Gomez. They crossed the line, hands in the air together, holding hands through, beating Michael Garrison third to the line, and it wasn't close. Garrison was well out of that group, so that speaks to really, I guess, how strong that group is.
Yeah.
We talked about those Skyline Cadence guys. You mentioned that great follows on social media. They know how to have fun. You had a chance to catch up with Lucas earlier tonight.
Always been that way out in the races?
No, we honestly haven't been that way. We come from a lot of Euro background racing, and crits are fairly new to me, and Luke loves them. He comes from this background, and so last year we kind of just found a rhythm that you find your flow state, you have fun, you get interactive with the crowd. It kind of keeps you ready and keeps your eyes on the prize, and it's a different style of racing, but for sure we take it just as seriously as anyone else. But we're here to have a good time and catch some dummy dubs.
We've taken to calling Lucas the Cowboy for his trademark
Lucas
cowboy
the Cowboy
hats
Ragon
that he wears onto the podium. I've also been noticing earlier in the race, Lucas and what I think was Luke Fetzer were coming by the line here. I think trying to talk into our mics that we have around the course. I think they were trying to get
trying to join the broadcast here.
A Cadence promo in there as they're riding by. So I think the goofy part of the race is behind them. They seem to be back to work up at the front.
Back to work.
They were
engaged.
They were having a good time at the back of the race earlier when things were just kind of shaken out. They're not afraid to ride at the back either. Lucas Bourgon, I've seen win a ton of races after riding 75% of the race at the very
front.
back.
Sure.
He's one of those few guys that really understands the dynamics of riding in a group, how to be super efficient, and understands how much you can gain back there. That's Bourgon at the very back right there. He is starting to rally the troops right here. When you see those guys starting to gang up at the front, you sense something is coming.
Yeah, and one of the things that he's posted about, he's talked about a lot, is how fun it is to ride with teammates, that they're really enjoying one another and seeing that team synergy. You learn each other's riding styles. You see them organizing in the front here and starting to control the race and set themselves up for hopefully a really positive finish. See those green jerseys across the front next to, looks like, Automatic. A couple of moves coming from the outside.
This is really aggressive for how early it is. Still 26 laps to go on the counter here. Kyle Perry trying to go away again. Pretty clear here that Kyle Perry doesn't want to sprint against these guys, nor would I. Alfredo Rodriguez would be the last guy that I want to take to the line. Michael Garrison would be the second to last guy that I want to take to the line in a sprint like this.
So if you're Kyle Perry and you don't want to sprint against some of these protected, very strong riders who will take you to the line, what is the best strategy for you? What is something that Kyle Perry you would want to see him do? Is it try to sneak into a breakaway and get away and not have some of those guys in that group with him? Is it hide in the middle? And like what becomes the strategy for someone like that, for that kind of a rider?
Only Kyle Perry knows the answer to that question. Right now, though, he's doing the right thing to get away here because he's going to race for fourth if these guys stay away. If they do stay away, he wants to be in that conversation, and he knows that 1 in 4 is better than 1 in 80 for him. He's not a bad sprinter. Kyle Perry can absolutely sprint. He races up on that Detroit velodrome, up the short velodrome they have up there. Big Madison rider, so he's very used to heavy contact racing. He does those slings on the track up in Detroit. He's an incredibly experienced bike racer, not just on the road bike, but he's really an all-round talented rider. Ringing the bell for the mid-race point sprint lap as they roll through the line. I think these three guys should be able to stay away here. But again, I think these three are in it for the win here tonight, so I'm not sure that they're going to race to the line here. They probably just roll through in the order. Again, they got bigger fish to fry trying to win this bike race. Ruben Campagnoni, big sprint threat in this group.
He goes around.
He goes way back. I'm trying to think back to like the Jamis Sutter home days. If you're an old school American cycling fan, that'll be a throwback for you.
Long time history of the sport. It is. I think that's some of the beauty of cycling is you have some of the guys who may be newer. You have some of our collegiate stars who are on the rise or who've been riding since they were juniors or in some of these maybe even kids races and have developed up through the ranks, and then you see them, out there in the peloton with people who have a deep history with either the race or the sport. Is one of the coolest things I think about bike racing.
This is one of those scenarios where you wonder if like the college kid even knows who he's riding with.
Has no idea.
It's like Do you realize what this guy's been through? You know how many speed weeks this
and
guy
what he
has
did
done?
at your age.
You know how many times this guy survived Athens?
He's like, I'm just trying to pull.
So Serna in the green, Payne in the white, and Campagnoni in the black.
Time gap holding steady, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. It's amazing, lap after lap, they have not gained and they have not lost any time.
See lots of looking around out there, lots of communication and working together to stay away from that peloton, which at this point we'll see how that plays out, if they're motivated to draw those guys back in or if they have enough support from their teammates who will get up in the front and block some of that, let their guys sneak away.
You can really see the speed that they carry through that turn 3. That'll pick up as the night goes on. CRCA Foundation back up to the front, these red and white jerseys. Looks like they're going to contribute 1 to this chase.
Followed by a couple of Arcade and Skyline riders. I see Alfredo hiding somewhat near the front.
Yeah, so what Cadence is doing here is waiting in the wings to take over the tempo setting at the front. Eventually, that Foundation rider is going to have to give up the control of the front here. And then second place takes over, and look who that is. It's a Cadence jersey getting ready to slow things down for Cesar Serna, who they have up the road. So great show of teamwork going on here for these 3.
Looks like this far into the race, they're definitely putting a hurting on the riders who are maybe in the back feeling some of that washing machine effect. Coming up this hill, we've talked a little bit about it. This is certainly not a flat course, and lap after lap at this point, you start to feel some of that, especially if you're in the back half of this group, getting all strung out as the speeds just get higher and higher further into the bike race.
That's Weimar Roldan back out there. You saw him in the pit earlier, spent a couple laps in there, but whatever the issue was got sorted out. It looked like everyone was in there for mechanicals. Is that right? I don't think riders were coming in for crashes. We didn't see any here. Roldan spent a couple laps in there. Did you get any idea for what the issue was?
I stopped in there. It seemed like it's been a very clean experience for the race so far. No major crashes, nobody in there for anything like that or injuries. Everything that I saw, spent some time watching what was going on. It was either pedals getting screwed back on, flat tires, dropped chains, but no injuries, which is great.
So now Foundation starting to panic a little bit. Juan Barboza next up to try to bridge the gap here. And that's going to spark some action for Barboza here. Now, 22 laps to go on the counter. These guys don't need to panic yet. They've got plenty of time to bring back this breakaway. It's still kind of holding at right around 15, 20 seconds. It's not out of control yet, so it's still possible. Not seeing the organization that you need there. Now Asa Black going to try and go. Boy, if you could make it across this gap, you are a super strong rider, because those guys up front are moving. I mean, they are not playing games up there. They're very clearly in the rhythm. So it's going to take some serious legs to get across a gap like this. Asa Black thinks he's got it. And now Fetzer trying to figure out if he's going to go.
Yeah, the tricky part is sneaking across and not drawing everybody up there with you.
Black's got the split here. But here come the chasers.
A very motivated effort behind him to stay with him, make sure he doesn't sneak away and catch onto that breakaway. And that would be bad news for everybody who's, looks like quite a few guys are really trying to catch across.
Yeah, what this is going to do is bring that time gap down, because now he's taken a pretty significant chunk out here. So see if we can put a clock on these guys here at what will be 21 laps to go on the counter as they roll their way through.
Out of the saddle, coming up here, back through out of turn 4 towards the start-finish line, and you can see the rest of the group all strung out with that high speed, like you just mentioned. From
Campagnoni's gritting his teeth up there.
Gritting his teeth. I saw them all 3 out of the saddle.
Dude is working. I mean, look at this. This is a mounted chase effort back here in the field, and they have not been able to bring back any real time to speak of.
And not to mention on probably the most difficult section of the course, and they're coming around into that very long uphill, the most difficult section of the course, and putting in quite an effort to bring those guys back.
Wind's starting to die down out there as well. That's good news for the guys in the breakaway. There's still some wind. It's a tailwind on the start-finish stretch and a headwind on the backside of the course. So this right here is the worst section, but the good news is it's downhill, so it kind of evens out, I guess. See, it's still flapping, but earlier that thing was holding on for dear life to that flagpole.
It was the wind earlier in the day. It has certainly the wind has certainly died down at this point in the evening. The wind earlier today was so aggressive. I took a walk through the incredible market and the festival and all the things happening on Noble Street right here, and tents were blowing and children were blowing. It was just trying to keep everybody on the ground, and a lot of wind. It seemed like has really died down.
Nice. Gap's coming down for these three.
20 laps to go.
Big chase effort on the front right now. Oh, it's Garrison. That's why. Michael Garrison is a Mack truck of a human being in bike racer form here. This guy has all the power in the world to spare. He's going to single-handedly close down this gap. Watch Garrison here. He doesn't even need the help behind him.
And if you're one of those other riders sitting behind him, you're super thankful to see Michael Garrison get up there on the front and do all of the work.
Garrison, man, this is a very, very similar scenario to where he found himself last year, because remember, it was Rodriguez and Gomez that got away, went 1 and 2, and Garrison was kind of stuck in the gap trying to chase into the closing laps here. So I think he's trying to avoid a repeat of that this year, make sure he doesn't miss that winning move. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to go across, and now Caden's going to take over, opened a little gap.
Once again, seeing those riders from Caden Skyline up here on the front.
Yeah, you can't let those guys control here. I mean, they've been controlling so far. That's why this race is the scenario that it's in, because Cadence has one up the road, remember, in Cesar Cerna, and they're just trying to control this one. They are controlling this one.
Doing a pretty good job.
17 on the counter now. You see, look at the conversation at the front.
Kyle Perry talking.
And it's Dylan Casey back there as well.
And as the laps die down, at one point, are you thinking, if you aren't one of those teams that has a rider represented in the breakaway, you're not finding yourself organized in the front. What becomes the strategy where you've got to pick and choose your moment?
Well, here's a strategy right here, automatic. Executing a plan right now. They're going to go 1, 2, and 3 up to the front here. There's no way around this. They're trying to just drive this one, make it as hard as they can, make it as tough as possible here.
Team that we definitely saw get very organized last year with some pretty strong lead-out efforts. Their team organizing in the second half. I spoke to actually a couple of the riders on Team Automatic, and they mentioned that this is, quote, one of the most difficult races for them all year, and they're really looking forward to the challenge. They've got some newer guys they said are very motivated, very excited. Seems like Ed from Automatic hiding about 20 riders back.
I think that's Gibbons further back.
Is that Gibbons?
Neil is up here. That's going to be Gibbons about 15 wheels back in this group, so he's dispatching the troops to the front right now. Thomas Gibbons gave a directive to his guys, and it was go to the front and make this race
Organize.
fast. Yeah, I think he was realizing that Cadence they're letting Cadence lock this down. And Gibbons is like, all right, I'm tired of these guys in green controlling this race.
Yeah.
We're going to stack this 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to take turns controlling the tempo here. So now, if you're in that breakaway, now you really start to work.
Yeah, and Automatic seems very motivated because they do not have one of those riders represented in that breakaway group, whereas Cadence does. You see them kind of sitting further back towards the front. But if you're Automatic, this is definitely when you want to assemble your team and start working to bring those riders back if you want a chance.
Automatic's going to be looking for a split.
Out of the saddle.
Back in the field. They know if they just keep on this, eventually someone will drop the ball, right? There will be a split in this group, and they can get rid of 20, 30, 40 riders that they no longer have to deal with here.
Start to see some of our sprinters assembling as well. 10 riders or so back.
Yeah, you're just getting into that territory where sprinters start to need to make their way to the front. This is also going to make it very difficult for riders to move up here. I think that's the other strategy here that Gibbons is trying to execute, is make the guys that are trying to move up here burn a lot of energy. So if you were, let's say, Alfredo Rodriguez, haven't seen one side of him tonight, now he has to start making his way forward. But the difference is he's got to do it when the average speed is 30 miles an hour versus 25 miles an hour just a few laps ago. So this is really good riding from Automatic Racing here, putting the pressure on these riders. It's a long, they're playing the long game in this scenario, right? They're not trying to win this race on this lap. What they are trying to do is wear everyone out, keep this race fast, and try and deliver Gibbons to the line.
Still see those 3 riders from Automatic assembled on the front, taking really long, strong pulls.
Yeah. They're going to turn it over to Real Deal Ed Veal up next. This guy's just another power factory. Look at it.
Yeah, you see that one Automatic rider dropping off, did his work. And
so they're going to start burning through guys like a lead-out train here.
The rotation of the front, yeah.
I mean, this is an all-in effort from Ed Veal.
You see Luke from Skyline hiding in there.
You see how long this field is and the importance of staying near the front. Again, you're at the back of this, right? There's Jonas Walton right there. One of the few guys who will be able to make it easily, make it up to the front of this race. But, yeah, if you're not up there right now, I don't know if you're going to get an easy chance to get back up there if Automatic has their say at it. Ed Veal putting everything he's got into this move. That's why they call him the real deal right there.
The face of attrition on the front.
Daylight's starting to become a little bit of a problem with our riders that are out there, so we're going down to
Nice launch right there. Keep the tempo going. You can't let a second go by where you let the pressure come off.
Wow, it's like an incredibly dedicated attack trying to get away from the group.
That's how you do it. If you're going to do it, you got to go all in.
And it seems like the rest of them are letting him get away.
I think this is Gibbons going here. Yeah, that's Gibbons. He's going to try and win this bike race solo.
10 to go.
So that was the setup. They were trying to launch Thomas Gibbons. This is the execution of the Automatic Racing team plan. And they are all in on this one. They're either going to win this bike race or die trying. There is no in-between for Thomas Gibbons here. He has put all his chips in the middle, thinking he can stow away for 13 laps here. But Kyle Perry's got something to say about that.
using a break of 3, went off solo by himself for about 15 laps, got caught, and then went again solo to win the race. So it's not
Gibbons, another rider, not afraid to put it all on the line. He doesn't care if he loses this bike race.
Not at
He's
all.
lost so many bike races in his life. What's
On
another
incredible
one?
efforts,
Because
yeah.
he's won enough that he understands the importance of taking those risks, putting yourself out there. Because a loss is a loss, right? You might as well go for it. And I think
Might
Gibbons
as well.
embodies that really well.
And it's also one of those situations where he knows he has teammates who will get up to the front and do some of that work. Saw them try to launch him off the front, and he's definitely seen some space, some not daylight but twilight as the sun is setting here in Anniston, with 13 laps to go, to see if he will be able to not only to get away from the rest of the group that's out the saddle, but kind of looking around at one another. I don't know if they'll get organized to be able to bring Gibbons back, or if Gibbons will sneak away and be able to catch our 3. With 9 laps to go.
Yeah, they're going to start pulling some laps off here. I think the sun's starting to set, and they're going to try and wrap this up a little earlier. Good news for Thomas Gibbons here. We're reporting 8 seconds over race radio.
Still seeing quite a few of those green jerseys assembled at the front.
Now, I can't imagine the team in the green jerseys is going to let Automatic go on the road.
Yeah, and I can't see them letting him ride away too far.
I think that's what Gibbons was counting on, that they underestimate him, right? They give him just a lap or two, thinking it's 13 laps to go. You're one guy. What are you going to do? But
that one
that's
guy
exactly how those moves work.
Thomas Gibbons.
Yeah, Gibbons just begs people to underestimate him. I mean, he dares them. Say I can't do it.
He's one of those
racers
racers that is so fun to watch race, though, because he's aggressive. He is aggressive. He loves it. We've actually got a couple of the Automatic riders spotted outside of the race course.
Yeah, looks like Ed Beal done for the night. He just pulled off course. I think that's mission accomplished for them. Used everything he had. Meanwhile, Gibbons trying to get the crowd behind him.
That's the black jersey city bus that I was talking about coming up to the front. Ruben Campagnoni, he was in the breakaway for all that time, still has the legs to be able to do the chase. They're trying to set it up for Alfredo Rodriguez, and right now, coming down, next lap will be 7 to go.
Gap coming down. That's Campagnoni back on the front. I think that's Wrightsman back up there behind him. And then the green cadence train. I think this will be it for Gibbons here. Unfortunately, Campagnoni, the experienced rider, realized what was going on and brought this one back together. All right, that's it for Gibbons. Wrightsman back to the front. 8 laps to go, getting down to it. We'll see 7 when they come through the line here. Oh, we saw that move off the front by Thomas Gibbons that has just come back, but it was set up by an incredible team effort from that Automatic squad. Jenna's with some of those riders right now. Let's go down to Jenna Foley.
Saw that incredible action on the front from Team Automatic. Well, we've got none other than Ed himself, who we just saw doing incredible work off the front of this race. Now, talk to us about that. Was the plan for you to launch Tom off the front of this race? What was that?
Yep, we know if we're going to do it around 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but we had an idea of what we wanted to do, just kind of line up, everybody going and give their one lap, everything they got, and then launch Tom, and if he got away with, if we pull that off, he'd be away with the cream of the crop, the best guys in the field.
Incredible. And what was your role in all of that?
I was last to go, so I had to weather the storm of Tim Rugg, then Josh Chalmers, then I had to give it all, and I got Tom screaming, up, 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 just yeah, mule, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was tough.
The sounds of the bike race. What else are you seeing happen out there with some of the other teams and how they're trying to battle against you?
I was wondering if how hard the race was. We were chatting on are we flat or is this a really tough one? And so yeah, I was trying to look at diaphragms, body language, but yeah, I wasn't feeling that great. Or when they all finished, we get talking, we'll find out it was just so hard. So
it seemed like everybody else was suffering. It seemed like, tell me, were you suffering out there?
Exactly, and that's why doing that, cracking the field, hopefully, even though Tom's out there alone, yeah, we'll see who has the legs left to go get them. So
We'll see who has the legs left. Thanks so much, Ed. You heard it right here from Team Automatic themselves.
A valiant effort by the Automatic riders through the line. They're going to ring the bell here. I think they took another lap off here, and they're going to ring this as the 5 to go sprint. So they're seeing 6 on the line here. It'll be 5 next time through, and they are going to sprint for points here. He's getting a little dicey on that inside corner. There's Perry back up to the front. A lot of the same faces up there. Have not seen Alfredo Rodriguez much at all tonight. He covered just a couple moves. And typically, that means he's in for a pretty good race. Here he comes right now. Red helmet, black jersey, just in the middle of the picture right here. Alfredo Rodriguez now senses that this is the time. So here comes the 2-time defending champ here at the Sunny King Criterium, right onto the back of this Cadence train on the front of the field. Bikers trying to get organized back there as well. I see a couple CRCA Foundation jerseys.
Look at the green jerseys all lined up. Points on the line, but right now they're thinking more so, trying to be able to set it up for the finish.
And Johnny Purvis has also made his way. The beard. Garrison back there as well. The lighter green jersey. And now head down for Fetzer. Question is, can Cadence control this for the remaining 5 laps tonight? Johnny Purvis found his way into a nice little train here, but he's going to give up his seat and take over control. There's number 1, Alfredo Rodriguez. And then just on his wheel, Jaime Castaneda, former Rodriguez teammate, now riding with that Bikers cycling team. Castaneda right next to Garrison here, so pretty much every hitter in this race making their way to the front right now, and all trying to hold on to Johnny Purvis. Here goes Foundation. CRCA had a few up there. They're going to launch 1. As they're going to decide to dispatch Juan Barboza here. So now Barboza seeing 4 laps to go on the counter as he rolls through. Small gap, just a few seconds. Now Barboza back into the group. Covered by Cadence. This field's going to have to figure something out because the sprinters are about to have an absolute field day here in Anniston. I think without a doubt, Cadence, your best organized team so far. They've kept the most riders up at the front into the closing laps here tonight, but there's only 1 lap that really matters, and that's coming up in about 3.5 laps from now. Barboza's still up there doing work. Boy, and the fight is on just to stay near the front here. I'm watching Burgoyne and Garrison start to slip back. They're now behind Rodriguez. And look at the panic on the outside as these guys try and move up. Lap counter going to take them down to 3 as they roll across the line here. Now things starting to come back together. CRCA Foundation's going to have to get a little more organized here. They've got riders, they've got the numbers. They just need to figure out how to use them. Barboza's been doing a fantastic job keeping this race fast, making sure no one stays away, making sure no one gets away. Campagnoni back up there now. Starting to get a little rowdy out there. Caden's still in charge. Garrison has infiltrated the train into 4th position here, but so has Rodriguez. He's on the very back of this one right now, so both of those guys in really good position. And this is going to be Campagnoni taking his last pulls here in support of Rodriguez. No question about it. Ruben Campagnoni is not the guy for City Bikes tonight. It's got to be Rodriguez with number 1 on his back, and Campagnoni doing everything he can to sacrifice himself for Alfredo Rodriguez right now. Down to 2 laps to go. Still time to move up here. See, Campagnoni's done now. This is a good chance because things are going to slow up just a little bit. There's a small transition period here before Cadence can take over. Rodriguez tacked right behind Garrison now. Tacked right behind, I think, Holek now. Or maybe that's Bourgogne, where number 11 is Lucas Bourgogne up at the front. And that's going to be Bourgogne at the back of the Cadence train here. So he'll be the 3rd rider in line. Number 11 right there. Then goes Garrison and Rodriguez, arguably 3 of the best sprinters in this race, lined up 3rd, 4th, and 5th place right now. All right, this will take us down to the final lap of racing. Cadence has done everything they can tonight to take this one down to a sprint. And now into the last lap, they're going to try and set it up for Lucas the Cowboy Bourgogne to get a win here in Anniston, Alabama. Bikers team starting to move up here. They're going to have a shot at this. That's Weimar Roldan starting to move up the inside. Roldan into 4th spot here. Onto the backside. Beautiful protection at the front here from Cadence as these guys fly by at the front. Garrison's got a look. Into turn 3. Garrison starting to move up. Rodriguez a little farther back than he might want to be. Roldan in the white jersey in the conversation here. And now into turn 4. They're going to drop their last lead-out rider here for Bourgogne. Here comes Kingdom Elite up the right side. Bourgogne has been released. He's got some daylight. Rodriguez is right on the wheel. Garrison behind him. But Lucas Bourgogne will seal the deal for the Cadence Cyclery team. The Cowboy gets it done in Anniston. Well, if there was any question about the teamwork for that Cadence squad, it was executed perfectly tonight in Anniston. Cadence takes over at 5 to go, controls the closing laps, and delivers the Cowboy to the line. Not bad for a first time in Anniston. Welcome to Sunny King for Lucas Bourgogne with the trademark post up. And the celebration with the team. These guys deserve a lot of credit out there tonight. Again, that entire Cadence Cyclery team did everything they could to keep Bourgogne up there, and it worked out tonight. Love it when a plan comes together. And maybe the best feeling in cycling, the post-race cool-down lap with your winning teammates. We'll try and grab a word with Lucas Bourgogne as he rolls around. All right, these guys working their way back around, understandably tired after 75 minutes of tough racing here in Anniston. Go back and take a look at the finish here. Gotta love that post up. Well done for Lucas Bourgogne. All right, as we get ready for our podium presentations coming up, we're going to do pro women and pro men. We'll take one more quick break here from Anniston, Alabama, and when we come back, we'll have your pro women and pro men's podium presentation coming up right after this.
The outfit.
Yeah, and so we were able to take over at like 7 to go. And then from there, it was just lift off. They just kept riding harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And I kept thinking, when's the swarm going to come? And it never came. So that was something, that was beautiful. That's about as easy as I could ask for a sprint to go. So
I was telling the crowd, you've never been here to Anniston, Alabama. It's your first time racing here in Sunny King. What did you think about the course and the crowd?
Damn, I love me some four-corner courses. So I can't complain. Four-corner with an uphill drag. Sign me up every day of the frickin' week.
Hey, big congratulations, your 2025 winner, the Cowboy, Lucas Bourgogne. Go up there to Brad, please.
Well, it might have been his first time into Anniston, but I have a feeling this will not be the last time that we see Lucas Bourgogne here at the Sunny King Criterium. Once you win, you always want to come back and get a little piece of that. So Lucas will be the defending champ heading into next year, and you know that'll put a little more pressure on his back as he knocks former number one down to second place. Alfredo Rodriguez has to settle for second as Michael Garrison gets another third place out there tonight. Just cannot find those top two steps on the podium here in Anniston. Luke Harris picks up fourth place. Great ride for the Kingdom Racing rider who made his way up at the front very late but found his way up into the top five. And then Fergus Arthur for the CRCA Foundation team, their sprinter, finding his way up into fifth. Some really impressive names on this list. Anyone who made their way into the top 10 has a lot to be proud of out there tonight. So I think we'll see those guys back here in a little bit. We're just getting ready for our podium presentation here. Again, we'll do our elite women and then elite men after that.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our women.
All right, sounds like we are ready to begin our podium presentations. We'll go back down to Frankie Andreu.
Riding for Milligan University, Michaela McPherson. In second place, it's a silver medal ride. Please welcome Rebecca Lang, riding for Winston-Salem. You want some help? You good? No. And your winner on the day, it's a first place, gonna be crowned the queen of the Sunny King Criterium. Please welcome Samantha Clark. Presenting the check, presenting the flowers and the champagne, your event director, your event organizer, Marilyn Hill. As we have crowned the queen right here in Anniston, Alabama, congratulations once again. It's 1, 2, and 3. Clark on the top step. Champagne celebration, all smiles and no tears. Here in the streets in Anniston, congratulations, Samantha Clark with an incredible victory. Rebecca, don't go anywhere. Rebecca, go to the top step of the podium because you are, we don't have any jerseys, which we will coming up, but you are our winner and a leader for the 2025 race number 1 of the USA CRITS Series. We'll get you a jersey, not a problem. Moving on to our pro men. Finishing up just 10 minutes ago on the darkness in the streets here in Anniston. Like to be able to call up in 3rd place. Coming out of Atlanta, Michael Garrison. Garrison with a bronze medal ride. What about a silver medal ride? A 2-time winner here in Sunny King. It's 2nd place, Alfredo Rodriguez. He came in with 1 goal, his first time to ride Sunny King, and he comes out on top. Please welcome the cowboy out of Austin, Texas, riding for Cadence, Lucas Bourgogne. Once again, a big thank you, Marilyn Hill, presenting the crown, the flowers, the champagne, and the check to your winner, Lucas Bourgogne. Passing off the flowers to get to the important part, the champagne celebration. What a great time, part of the Noble Street Festival, celebrating here. Also, I'd like to be able to acknowledge Lucas Bourgogne will be your leader of race number 1, your new USA CRITS leader. Lucas Bourgogne leading the USA CRITS Series.
Well, an incredible night of racing here in Anniston as we put the cap on our 23rd year here at the Sunny King Criterium, and already looking forward to year 24. So a big thank you to everyone here in Anniston, from everyone here in Anniston. After an amazing day of racing, some windy conditions out there, but it turned into a beautiful night here at the Sunny King Criterium and Noble Street Festival. As we wrap up our live coverage of the 23rd year on behalf of Jenna Foley and Frankie Andreu, my name is Brad Soner, saying thank you for another great year, and thanks for reminding us what makes bike racing so great. So for everyone here at the Sunny King Criterium, our director in the booth, Mark Zalewski, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next year in Anniston.
Around 3rd place for